Hey dolls and friends. Hey dolls and friends, welcome back and thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you're new here, my name is Amber Michon and I do weekly DIYs using majority of Dollar Tree or other affordable items. If you're not new, hey doll, hey. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some spring and Easter DIYs. There are 4 really easy projects that I know you guys are really going to love. Also, this video is sponsored by Cricut, and I really appreciate them continuing to help support and sponsor my channel. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. I'm going to be sharing new materials that I have been using with the Cricut. I have recently got the Cricut Explorer 3 and I really do love this machine. It's super easy and I love that I can use all smart materials with it. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Cricut, it is a smart cutting machine that allows you to create personalized projects with hundreds of materials. I have the Cricut Joy, Cricut Maker, and the Cricut Explorer 3. Today, I'm going to be discussing the Cricut Explorer 3 and some of the new materials I've been working with. Cricut also comes with a software called Design Space, and it comes free with your machine. This is where you can create your project and browse hundreds of images, fonts, and phrases. Once you've created your design in Design Space, it will send it to your machine to cut. So if you are new to the Cricut brand or familiar with these machines, I'm super excited to share these projects with you today. So if you do enjoy the video, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up as it definitely helps out with my channel's growth. If you're new, I love what you see and I love all things home decor DIY on a budget. I would also appreciate if you would consider subscribing and hitting the bell right next to it so you're notified every time that I upload. All right, dolls, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so for the first DIY, I'm taking this bunny bait mason jar. I actually found this at Dollar Tree and I think it is so cute. So I'm actually not going to change anything on the front. I'm going to leave it as is. So I'm going to use the back side of it. So the first thing I did is remove the twine rope and then the metal piece at the top. Then I removed my tag and then sanded it down so I can get a nice smooth surface. And then I'm going to give this 2 paint coats of my white chalk paint from Waverly. And you guys, if you see these mason jars, they have 3 different styles. I suggest you get them. They are so adorable and really cute. All right, so this is what it looks like once I am done. And then I am going to take my crystal colored chalk paint from Waverly. I really love this color. It's like a powder blue color. And I used a small chippy brush to just kind of do a heavy dry brushing on here. I was looking for like a watercolor effect. So if I was a little heavy handed in some spots, I would take my sanding, my finger sander and just kind of sand it off a bit and then just keep going until my eyes were happy. Once that was done, I hot glued the metal piece that was on the front side onto the back side onto the top. I'm going to set that aside and head over into Design Space to get my image. So I just hit to New Project and then I go over to the left side and go to Phrases. So I choose this, I put in there Silly Rabbit to search. You guys really love one of my mason jar DIYs that I did that has this image that says Silly Rabbit, Easter is for Jesus. So I thought I would do it over again and just show you a little smaller tutorial on how I did it. So I actually sized my mason jar sign off camera. And so I'm just resizing this image where I need it. Then I go up to click Make It, and then it sorts my projects on my mat. So I'm using smart material, so I do not need a mat. So I click Without a Mat, and then I just click on both of these mats to make sure that the sizing and the position is correct. Because it's 2 different images, it's going to cut out on 2 different mats. In this case, I'm not using mats, it's just the smart material. So, but yeah, you get what I'm saying, right? Once my computer is connected to my Cricut, then I'm just going to click the material, which is Smart Vinyl Removable. And then you can choose your pressure, whether it's default or more. I usually choose more, but for this, I chose default. Then it's going to measure out your material to make sure that it's long enough. And then it's going to start cutting, and that is it. Since it is essentially on 2 separate mats, like I said, this is smart material, so I did not have to use any mats. It's going to do it twice, and you just go through and pick the same materials again. And once it's all cut out, I just weed everything out and make sure that it looks good and it will line up good. So the first thing I did is actually took some transfer tape, and then I took the phrase off first. But after I took off the phrase, then I put it over the cross just so I could line it up. And it has those little void in spaces where you just line it up, and then took that off of the backing and then put it on front of the mason jar, and that's it. Super cute, right? I really love this, and I love this watercolor effect look on the back of the cross. I think it's stunning. Before I'm too invested, I should probably ask you all my... For my next DIY, I am using this ho like globe kind of looking thing from Dollar Tree, this sign, and I'm going to use the back side. So I first remove the ribbon on top, and I'm actually going to cover the front side with some brown craft paper. You guys know me if you've been around. If you're new, I like covering the front of my projects with brown craft paper so it has a nice finished look. And then once that's over, adhered, I'm going to paint the front using my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to give 2 coats. Now for this project, I'm going to use this new smart paper sticker cardstock from Cricut. It's new to me because I've never used it before, and I just really like using different materials with Cricut instead of using vinyl all the time. I think it's really fun. So what I'm going to do is go into Design Space and make sure that I have my Explore 3 chosen. Then I'm going to click on New Project. On the left side of the Design Space, they have all of these. It's all upgraded, so they have these new sections and categories. I really love the images and the phrases. The phrases I absolutely love because it gives you a better options and a variety of options of the phrases that you want to search. But for this one, I'm just going to go into images, and I am going to search floral wreath. So I put that in there, and you get a bunch of different options, and there was a few that I was trying to choose, but I ended up choosing this second one. I thought it went really well with my color theme in this video and just gave me all the Easter vibes I needed. So what I'm going to do is going to resize this in the size that I know my picture is. So I already sized that up. So what you're going to do to be able to size it your way is to unclick the lock button and then put in your sizes at the top in the middle where it says height and width. And you just keep playing around with it until you know the size that you need and to make sure that it looks good. The other thing about this is that there's 7 different colors that you're going to be cutting out on, and you can change all of these colors. You can click on the eye to hide the colors. If you don't want it, you can, like I said, you can change the colors up here in the top right corner where the color wheel is. You can play around with this as much or as little as you want, as you see me doing here. It was just really fun to give it a different color like scheme, or just, play with the color wheel. I was mainly playing around with it for so long because I had different colors of the sticker paper cardstock. I didn't have all the colors that were the default for this flower wreath. So I just played around with the different locations of the colors. So then next I went up to save my project. I really like doing this because sometimes I want to go back to make it again. If like maybe a friend or family member loves this project, I went up to save it, and that way it saves on my cloud. Now it's time for me to make it. So I click make it, and then I go without a mat. So as you can see here, there are 7 different mats that I have. So I have 7 different colors that I'm going to use for my cardstock, my sticker cardstock. And this was the fun part. Once I saw that everything was sized correctly and on a separate mat, I chose the material, which is Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock. I chose the default pressure, and then I went to make sure that all of my blades and everything was correct, and then I clicked on make it, and then I'm just feeding my cardstock paper in here, and this is real time, y'all. This is the first one that I'm doing, and when I tell you guys this machine is 2 times faster, I have the Cricut Maker, and it is so much faster than that. Look, I mean, I'm done with the first one. I'm telling you guys, this is not sped up whatsoever. Then after I done with that, I'm going to go back to my computer and click on the next material, which is the same Smart paper sticker cardstock and then put my next color in there. And then it's just going to cut. And yeah, that's all she wrote, y'all. I just did 7 of the colors that way. And we're ready to put our flower wreath together. See my little helpers around here, right? I tell y'all, they don't like me being in my craft room by myself. They just want they want to be there. So now that all of our flower pieces are cut out, I'm actually going to look at my phone to make sure that I have these layered correctly. This is my first time doing a project like this, and I'm doing it with y'all, so bear with me, but I just look at my phone as a point of reference to make sure that I am layering these correctly. So there are a couple different ways you can remove the excess cardstock, and you can use your weeding tool to weed out what you need, or you can simply just peel it back yourself. So the first one I used the weeding tool, but then the second one I just peeled it back itself and then began layering. Like I said, I'm using my phone as a point of reference to make sure that I am layering these pieces correctly. And once I actually get into the feel of it, like the system, I am just going, and it makes it so much easier. I find it a little bit easier just to kind of peel up these pieces, especially the larger pieces. Now for one of my floral layers, I believe it was one of the pink ones, it took a little longer to get that weeded out. So I peeled it directly off of the paper, the backing paper, and then had it to weed out the rest because it was just some tiny little pieces that I needed to get out. But once you've got everything weeded out, just layer it all on top the way that it's either A is supposed to, or B, the way that makes your eyes happy. And I really like how this turned out. I think it's super adorable, really cute. It was super easy to create and make, and I think you would have a lot of fun doing this as well. So once my flower wreath was complete, I went to the sign that I had. Now, I chose this sign because I felt like the top part of it kind of looked like an egg that was kind of sitting on top of like a plaque or something. So that's what I was kind of going for with this Easter spring theme. Anyways, I took my finger sander to sand down all of the edges of this sign, just all around. I wanted to get a little bit more depth and dimension on the sides of it. And then I took my finger knife and just did a line on the bottom part, like where the ribbon kind of plaque looking thing meets, just so it can have some difference and some definition there, and sanded it down a bit. Then I went to my Cricut again and cut out the phrase Sweet Spring using my Explore 3. I didn't show you that because I just showed you how to create and do a vinyl piece in the first DIY. I essentially did the same thing. I went to images and searched Sweet Spring, and this phrase came up. And actually I went to phrases, not images, and this phrase came up. So I used this mint colored vinyl. It's removable vinyl, and I just varnished that over with my transfer tape and put it on the bottom of my sign. Once that was complete, I then just took my cardstock floral wreath and just put that right on top. Didn't have to use any glue. The great thing about this material, especially for me being new using it, is I didn't have to use any glue. It just sticks right on top. I think it's super adorable. I really, really like this sign, and I hope you do too. Let me know what you think, and if you are going to try some of this smart sticker paper cardstock. Tongue tire, right? For this next DIY, I'm going to take this bunny garland from the Dollar Tree. It comes with 8 of these colorful bunnies. I think they are really, really cute. They already come attached with this string, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove that ribbon from the back of all of them. Then I have a lot of burlap fabric. I just have like the actual fabric like in like a sheet, and I traced out using a Sharpie marker one of the bunnies. And once I had one cut out, I just used that one to trace over all the rest. Now these bunnies, these colorful bunnies, they actually have their ears going different ways. So there's 4 ears going to the left that are bent, and then the other 4 going to the right. Don't know if you knew that. I did not find that out until I was actually putting like my burlap bunnies together, and I was like, oh my gosh, like some of them are the opposite way. So yeah, just FYI. Once I was done, I had 8 little bunnies to work with, and then I actually decided to hot glue them together. The burlap fabric is actually just a little bit thinner than I would have liked. And then I was actually going for a different kind of like thing. I wanted to actually hot glue the burlap bunny on top of the colorful bunnies, so you could see like still have that farmhouse like feel to it, but still had that pop of color. But it didn't really work out, so I just decided to hot glue the burlap bunnies together just to give it a little bit more of dimension with the look of it, because I'm actually going to fill them with polyfill as well. So you get a little bit more with it instead of it just being a flat bunny, just like the colorful bunnies are flat. So you have these like little plush bunnies, I guess you would say. I only did a little bit of polyfill in the head and the body. I did not do any in the ears or the little feet. So do with that what you will. You can do whatever you want, but this worked out the best for me. So now that I have 4 filled up bunnies, I then decided, hey, since my ears are going the opposite way, why not hot glue the like colored family bunnies together? So that is exactly what I did. And I really like that I did this because you could kind of see the silhouette of the darker color behind that first bunny. So here you see that light baby pink and the dark like pink color. Is so pretty, isn't it, to see like a silhouette? And so I was really happy that I decided to do that. And then you can do like 2-sided, because you could totally change this garland 2 ways if you want. So anyways, now that I have everything done and glued together, I'm going to make some Pom Pom Bunny Booties or tails booties. And I am going to use an assortment of yarn colors that I all got all from the Dollar Tree. And then I picked up these little pom-pom makers from Amazon. I have 4 different sizes, and this is the second to smallest one. So I'm going to use this yellow one first, and all you do is wrap it around both of those like half, I call them like rainbow like things. They're like rainbow lips or whatever. Anyways, you just wrap it all around to be as thin or as thick as you want. I did a lot of yarn so that way that my pom-pom looked really full and really like fluffy. So once I wrapped that all the way around, I then closed it. And then I took my scissors. I took actually my Cricut scissors because they're a lot sharper than my pink headed scissors, and then just cut them right in the middle. Be careful with this because yes, I poked my finger, like not doing this one, but doing the blue yarn one, which didn't work because the yarn was too rough and it was too hard. So yeah, just be very, very careful with this when you do it. And yeah, you'll see a band-aid in the next shot because I went through it, y'all. But anyways, after you're done cutting all the way through, then you're just going to take another piece of yarn and just fish it through in the middle of the pom-pom maker. And I did 2 knots. I tied it once at the bottom and then once at the top. Then I'm just going to open up the rainbow lips on both sides, so 4 of those rainbow lips, and pull this apart. Once I pull it apart, I have my pom-pom right there. Then I'm going to take my scissors and just trim down any of the longer pieces to make it look nice and even. And that is it for the pom-pom, y'all. I really, really, really like this. And then I just hot glued it right onto my bunny's booty. It's so cute, right? And I love that I have an assortment of colors of these little tails. Just think that they're adorable. Then I line them up to where they alternate. So it's one colorful bunny, then a burlap bunny, colorful bunny, then a burlap bunny, and so on and so forth. Then I'm going to use my white yarn, and I put it through my threading needle so that way I can attach these on one row. So I go ahead and put my threading needle onto the back of the first burlap bunny and then fish it through the front so you see the thread on the front of the bunnies. I know some people don't like that. They like their stuff on like the back of their items, but I thought it was really cute to have them all threaded in the front, especially because it's a really pretty, like, you know, white yarn. And then I just kept going until I was finished with all of them. And yes, that is Isaiah. He could not leave me alone. He was doing the most, y'all. But he loves his mama and her crafting sessions. So yeah, he's in and out all the time. All right, once that was done, I was good to go. I made some larger white pom-poms and put them on both ends of this garland. And I think this is just so adorable. I really, really love the way that this turned out. You guys let me know what you think. If you have a Cricut, you can actually use some iron-on vinyl and put like Easter on here or spring. But I think that is a great option to do.
But we should take it slow, work things out so you don't let me go. When I come
for my last DIY today, I'm going to take this shadow box sign and this cameo pink acrylic paint color, and I'm going to give this sign 2 coat paints of this pink. Then I'm going to go into Design Space and click on my canvas for a new project. I'm going to go to the left side and click on Projects. I've been obsessed with making or attempting to make paper flowers. So what I did is went up to the top search bar and typed in rolled flowers. I didn't really know how people created this, but I did some searching and some researching and figured out you got to search rolled flowers. So I chose this option where it's a Mother's Day shadow box rolled flowers because it's pretty much the idea that I had in mind. And so they have everything that you can put on your canvas. That's another great thing I love about Cricut is that they already have some projects that either people have created or made, and they just save it for other people to use. So that's exactly what I did. But I deleted the things that I did not need. And then I also had to resize some of the flower images so that way they fit onto my cardstock. Again, this is smart material, so I did not need to use a mat. But once I was able to resize it and then I clicked make it, then I was ready to create. So after I cut down the excess cardstock paper, these are the rolled flowers that I have. You guys see my Band-Aid here now? I feel like you can see it better now than the last one. Anyways, let's get back to the rolled flowers. So I found that the easiest thing to do was to take off the cardstock first, to remove it from the actual paper that it's on. Then I took my Cricut tweezers and pinched it on the edge, the end, and just started rolling. Now, if you've done this before, you may have like a rolling tool. I don't, but these tweezers worked wonders. The main thing that you have to make sure that you do is make sure that the bottom part stays lined up as you're rolling, and you just keep rolling. And yes, this is sticker paper cardstock, so it's still sticky. But that is the beauty of making this rolled flower with this material, is that it sticks to itself and each other. And once you keep going, of course it's going to get a little bit wider and a bit bigger, but that's what you want a flower to look like. Once you're at the end, then you just remove the tweezers or your tool, you tack it down, and then you use some hot glue to press down the end part, like the little butt part is what I call it. So that way you put that down, you adhere it with hot glue, and it stays together, and there you have your rolled flower. You can fan out the petals on the ends. That's what I did, and that is it. I really, really love how these look and how it turned out. So, so cute. So now I'm just going to take all of the rest of these, and there we go. They're all done. So, so cute. I love that transition, y'all. I'm so proud of myself for that. Let me toot my horn. Anyways, once that was done and my paint was dry for my sign, I just hot glued all of them down onto the middle of that frame. And that's it. Super easy. The longest it took was to roll all of these, but it was so fun to do. I really, really enjoyed this. So you let me know what you think too.
Cause I'm not ready to give you my heart yet. I'm too invested, I should probably ask you all my questions, get to know you better. Like, can you be trusted? Will you take me for granted? Will you let me down before I'm too invested? You should take it easy. Maybe we could test this.
Alright dolls, that's all I have for you today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a big thumbs up if you have. Subscribe if you haven't already. Be blessed, stay safe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Bye. No, keep it paused.
And action.
5, 4. Okay, come on.
And action.
It helps my...
And action.
Alright dolls, let's go ahead. What do I say?
I should probably